I guess I'll wait for that car to pass now. Everything you're about to see, well, the first half, was filmed 6 to 7 months ago. It took me that long to figure out how to fill this tube with water and make it stay reliably. All for the creation of what will be a sword, and hopefully at least a few more. And I'm going to show you how I did it. Okay, so I have a problem. I will be making knives and whatnot and swords, and I have nothing to cool them in, nothing substantial enough to dip and cool quickly, which is a process of how you do it. I need some sort of dunking station, and lucky me, I was able to find a giant steel tube just somewhere where I live. So I have a tube. It's about maybe 8 inches in diameter, maybe 5 feet tall. The problem is just an open tube. So how would I fill liquid to it? So my first idea is buy a saw blade and weld it to the bottom. But if that doesn't work, because I'm not a welder, I have plans B's and C's and whatnot. I guess I'll get started. Up. All right, bucket, check. So I had this whole plan. I was going to do the weld, I was going to seal it with the weld, and then it would be fine. I'd have a bucket of, I'd have a tube of liquid to cool my stuff with. But turns out you need to be good at welding to weld with any sort of sealing ability. So my plan then was to take my corns, my aluminum corns, and fill the bottom, because liquid aluminum would have enough space or have enough stretch to fill up the tube. And that was this process. So, all that math, and I didn't take into account two things. One, melted aluminum is very hot. So the tube bent, or not the tube bent, the tube is made of steel. The thick steel, the saw blade bent downwards, it concaved, and so it made new holes. The second thing I didn't consider was the fact that cast aluminum has terrible shrinkage. When you pour it, it shrinks a lot. So even though I did all the math for the diameter of the tube, it shrunk, so that math didn't matter because I don't know how much shrinkage it was. And I might add in a picture here of what the bottom looks like. It looks mostly covered, but it's not. It leaks. So, leaked. So, plan was, oh, okay, I'll pour more down. So I poured more brass down there with some silica. It makes it not shrink as much, the silica does. And that still didn't work, wasn't enough. So, third, fourth, whatever plan was. So I used almost an entire can of this to not fill in the inside, I filled in the bottom part where I welded, and just try to fill in all the gaps of the air gaps and whatnot. Now I'm going to test it. Let's see. Oh, where's my finger? You can see black rubber filled in. And now if you see water pour off the sides, that's just because I suck at pouring water down a big old tube from a table. But the point of this is, so if this is working, it will not be pouring out the bottom, and that's all I need. Oh, I see leakage. I see leakage. Darn it. Darn it. Weirdo. Oh, right here. Yeah, just all right. So that didn't work. Surprise, surprise. Plan B and a half. Liquid Flex Seal. It's not aerosol, so it doesn't have those bubbles. I'm just gonna pour this in. Just pour it in through the top. Don't know what else to do. There we go. Oh, that was a nice noise. I hope this is enough. This was really expensive. Now I'm just moving it around, coating the walls, or I guess the wall, bubble, to give it a solid hook to the wall. Because if I just left it how it was, it might leave a seam on the end of the wall, but this should be seamless because it's forming now to its own self. So, yeah, it's about 6 months later. Actually, from the last thing I filmed of this, it is exactly 6 months later. It's the first day of the month. 6 months after the first day of the month. But I finally was able to get what I think I need. The tube is sitting right there. It's been sitting there for 6 months. The next idea involves another bucket and not name brand rubber stuff. This was about $15, and what I'm assuming is the equivalent of Flex Seal was $89. So yeah, I definitely went with this. The current idea and the last idea that I have is putting the tube in the bucket and pouring this around the outside of that. Hopefully that will seal in the water better than anything else. Gonna let this dry for several days and see how it works. I'll maybe clean it up a little bit and then fill with water, because that should be able to fill more, because again it was holding up to about here. The pressure was too much and it was leaking out the bottom. That's the plan with the bucket, is to keep it from that. recap a small bit. There is a hole at the top right here. This is an empty tube that I welded a plate to the bottom, sealed, and now I have a dunk tank for my sword. Time will tell if it actually holds well, but considering it's not leaking here, which doesn't have very much water pressure to begin with, but still, it's about 5 foot tall. So I don't know how much water pressure it is at the bottom. 5 foot tall, maybe 8 inches wide. I think it's done. So, after 7 months, I don't even know how many ideas. I think 1, 2, 3. I think this is the 4th idea. And how to seal it. It is sealed. This is the current state of the sword. First one that's going to be quenched in here. I can do from head to toe with the sword. In fact, might as well. Really, I should put oil in here, but I don't have any budget, and water is sort of free. No, I just hit my camera with water. 7 months in the making. Should not have taken me that long. And I have a tube of water. Thanks for watching. I guess. My hand's all wet. Okay. Well, that framing doesn't look right.